Anything else changed? That's one way of measuring success, is what you see on the scales. But
I don't care about it.
Okay. So what are the other ways of that? Weight is one thing, so what you see on the scales. But is there anything else that you've noticed that has improved, like your fitness, your sleep, your eating behaviours, your adhering to your exercise? What are the other? Any other? Okay. And so how long have you been on this plan for? How long have you been following it for?
9 months. And I've lost every week.
Oh, so you have lost weight. I just thought you had
No,
it.
it's my second week in a row of just exactly the same.
Okay. So how much weight, do you mind me asking, have you lost since the 9 weeks? Right, that's a lot of weight. Okay. So we talked about weight loss before. So, you know, with what we say about the science, they say about half to 1 kilo a week. But when you're losing weight, you'll reach a point where it will start to slow down. So you're at that plateau phase. The weight plateau. Who hates the weight plateau phase? Yeah. I've got a nice little tip sheet. I'll actually, I think I'll remind me how to put that next week. But with the weight plateau, it's really looking at ticking off all the things I'm doing, and you are tick, 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 tick. So the question becomes, am I doing everything right? If the answer is yes, it's just keeping persisting, because you're getting those beautiful magic numbers coming down every week. So who finds that, you know, it becomes exciting, you know, I'm putting in the work. There's going to be a time where it will stop. You can't just keep losing weight because you need a skeleton. So there's got to be a point where you slow down. So it's kind of like in the stock market. There's always going to be fluctuations. As long as the trend's going down, that's what you have to worry about. So for you, you've done really well to actually lose 8 kilos. You know, if you can lose at least 5% of your body weight, losing even 5% of your body weight actually reduces your risk of diabetes by almost 60%. So you're already actually reducing your risk of those chronic diseases. So it's just a matter of persisting with it and not to give up. Because who finds that really hard? You're seeing, because you know it's ingrained in our way of thinking quite often that it's the measure of success is just what you see on the scales, and that's only one way of measuring success. But don't think it always changes. Eating well, exercising, they're goals. Weight's a goal, fitness is a goal, sleep management, stress management, relationships. They're all things that all help with the whole thing. Does that make sense? So the question becomes, because we talked about thinking last week, what do you have to say to yourself in order to keep persisting and believe that it is working? That's what I'd like you to tell me. Now you tell me, Em, because you learned this last week. I can't tell you what you need to think, but it's your own belief. Remember we talked about helpful thinking, unhelpful thinking and helpful thinking last week. If you think in an unhelpful way, what's the point? I'm not seeing any success. How does that impact on your behaviours? Okay, so remember we talked about the triangle of how you think affects how you feel and what you do. So if you go, oh, what's the point? Then that can impact on your healthy behaviours. So what you've got to think to yourself is, you know, what could I say to myself to help me believe I can do this and keep persisting? So for some people it's just keep going, you know, you will see results. Other people just say, look, you know, pull your finger out and just keep going with it. Don't think, just do. Or some people start to track other successes. You know, I'm getting my appetite back when we talk about appetite. So I actually feel normal. Some people say, now I know when I'm hungry and I know now when I'm full. Some people say they've got better energy. But don't always just rely on the scales. That's important, but don't think of all the other changes you are making in your life as well. So have you got a nice a way of thinking that you believe that will help you persist? What has helped you in the past?
Quitting hasn't helped in the past, so I guess it's just pitching down.
Aha, I like it. So quitting has been a strategy before and it hasn't worked. So as Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? It ain't working quitting, so maybe do not quit. Do you hate quitting? Are you a competitive person? Not really? Well, maybe it's a chance to show that, you know, you can try the opposite strategy. You've done so well, 8 kilos, that's right. That's huge.
Yeah, that's massive. 8 kilos in 9 weeks.
Very, very hard.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what, I said this at the first, and people don't like to hear this because this is about the hair root or the tortoise root for weight loss. So the hair root loses weight really quickly. You're always losing weight quickly. I see that as quick weight loss. Scientifically, it's actually healthy. The tortoise root is looking at about 1 kilo a month. So that means that you don't see the results as much, maybe 12 kilos in a year. But when you think about it with this research, on average, you might lose a lot of weight quickly, but then it might be half a kilo a month, then maybe half a kilo every 2 months. But on average, the people who lose 1 kilo a month, on average, are the ones that keep it off long term. So you're going to slow down, but it doesn't mean you're failing. You're still losing weight. That makes sense? Yep. So you might have to think of something to remind yourself that you're doing that. Anyone else feel like that at the moment, or did anyone go away and really think about helpful ways of thinking from last week?
No, I went away.
Sorry?
I went away last weekend and just had a bad weekend. But I've been really good this week.
But you got back on track.
I put on weight, but I've lost. Yesterday I was back to where I was before. So that was my aim. Okay, go away, have a bad weekend, but make sure you're back by the end of the week.
Yep. So it's not small lapses that fail, it's the full-on relapses. And how often do we have a little lapse and we think, I've blown it, it's completely gone out the window. It might be just a small weekend and to get back on track. That's the make or break. Do you get back on track sooner rather than later? So that's great. So any other sort of questions from last week? Because today we're going to talk about metabolism. Some of the hot topics. Hear about it a lot.
One thing I learned about myself, I had a look at the video.
Oh, did you?
Last week,
right.
yeah. But one thing I learned about myself is that if I don't have support, I won't do it.
Wow, that's a nice.
I just will go back into why bother.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you've realised what will work for you is looking for support.
Well, I wasn't looking for it, someone offered it. Yeah, Kathy's really supported me.
Great.
And my daughter.
Excellent.
Otherwise I just I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, okay. And that's one of the biggest barriers that can stop us from persisting is not feeling that we have that support. So great. So remember all those different types of barriers. If you can work out what doesn't work for you, then you can work out what works for you. Great, okay. So that's something that's in the forefront of your mind to help you with
Yeah, I have to fight this being fiercely independent to actually add on when I might need a bit of support.
Great.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could beat Blue Diamond every time I go to buy champagne.
What was that?
On Sunday, that was like my 4th social thing that I'd been around people drinking. I hadn't had a drink all weekend, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have champagne. I'm just going to have one. I'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I went to go to the bar and there's Rebecca sitting there, and I went, that's a sign.
Oh, that's
That's a sign.
I wonder why you looked at me funny because I'm like, hi, Liz.
Yeah, and I'm like, hi.
Did you see what I was doing? I had a martini.
It's not like I think you're a big, witch, but it was just a sign to me.
Big Brother's watching you. So that was Liz last week, next week.
Oh, no,
I did see a lot of clients actually. Everyone was going, oh, and they sort of thought about it, went, oh, yeah, how are you? Far out. What's good? That made me go and have a gin martini. Anywho.
So you could just be there whenever.
Okay, maybe I can get a phone app or something. Maybe that's the thing. Everything's about phone apps. So look, today's about metabolism, and I really was starting to think about it, and I find I get confused about metabolism. Like I know the science behind it, but then there's so much information out there of what boosts metabolism, what kills metabolism, and I thought, look, I might go back to the basic science for you guys, because does anyone find it confusing? Does anyone get lots of mixed messages? And then sometimes you come up with your own spiel and go, oh, that sounds really good, but I don't know if that's really right. Has anyone had that before? So look, I thought, let's go back to the basic science, and there's a dietitian called Matt O'Neill. His website's called Smart Shape. That's a really good website if you want to have a look at it. And it is really good because he's got an article which I've got for you guys today to take home.